list, selling in a matter of hours. But there are other areas, there are other pockets that are not necessarily moving as fast, and it's usually because it's a less desirable neighborhood. The property needs some work, or it's some sellers that are overshooting the market, thinking that the market was going to catch up to a price that they wanted, and they're basically overpriced, and they're just kind of hanging on for dear life to see if something happens, that they've got a buyer that absolutely loves the property. The one thing I want to point out here is just what's interesting is we've seen inventory levels decline. I didn't have to take it out based on space, but it talked about inventory levels declining over the course of the past basically 9 to 12 months. We've seen a slow decline of listings. And obviously, when you've got less listings, you're going to see an increase in prices, and that's certainly what we've seen. If you want to check out Realtors Association of Edmonton, you can check out these monthly stats. Just some initial highlights here. We saw an increase of 9% from March in total sales and a decrease of 13% from last April. Certainly us as realtors felt that, as last April 2024 was absolutely crazy. This was a very strong month, April, but certainly not as crazy as last month. Overall inventory, 5,400. That's an increase from March of 12%. They're basically flat from April last year. New listings, a little over 4,000. That's up nearly 10% from March, and an increase of 5% from April last year. Total residential prices, that continues to go up. That's a virtual straight line, $470,000. That's an increase of 2%. March, increase of 9% from last year. Detached single-family homes hitting $585,000, up 1.8% from March, and a big jump from last April, 10%. Overall listings are averaging 30 days on market. That's unchanged from March, and it's a 6-day decrease from April last year. Again, so this is a month old.
Because I'm a believer that when it comes to real estate investing, speed plus accuracy is money. So what you guys need to be able to do, if you want to be real estate investors, is you need to be able to find and assess opportunities. You need to decide if it's something you want to act on, and then you need to be able to act on it quickly.
So what they're going to do for that is they're going to subtract your mortgage payment on your home, or if you don't own your rent, your property taxes. They're going to assign a heating cost for your property. Strata fees or condo fees will come with that.
And then that F-150 that you convinced your partner you just needed, and it's $11.50 a month. Yeah, that's coming out next year. Then they're going to look at your personal debts. So if you've got credit card or line of credit debt, then they're going to take 3% of that balance. Put $10,000 on a credit card that you're not paying off for an unsecured line of credit. There goes another $300 a month. Whatever number is left is going to be what they're going to use to cover the rental property loans.
So don't be deceived by 60 lenders. You should say, which lenders are you specifically looking at if your file's struggling or you don't have that degree of trust with your work. The best rate thing, once again, fair and competitive sometimes. I'll be blunt, my value proposition to you is not lowest rate. To the point I will stand on stage and tell you I will not give you lowest rate. It's planning, tax strategy, optimization, helping you find the lowest cost of your mortgage, debt, penalties, fees overall. We can show you how to get the CRA to reimburse up to 50% of the interest cost of your home. That's my world. I get excited about that. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm not really worried about shaving $13 off payment, but using capital. So that's what brokers won't tell you. So variable, one of the mistakes that I'm going to end you guys with on this is that many people assume that the decision is 5 years fixed or 5 years variable. But you can choose variable and interpret it as the decision to procrastinate locking in your mortgage. So you can go day by day, month by month, and the moment that you see the world changing and you see maybe that stock market's doing really good, inflation's going up, everything's good, lots of positive news to the stock market, the economy, that means rates up. Whereas if it's doom and gloom, people losing their jobs, layoffs, inflation's low, that means rates down. But when you see that shift start to happen, you can call, lock in 3, 4, or 5. Now the key thing is not all lenders do that. So there's a couple lenders that do. That's our job, or if you shop banks, you should be asking this question. What are the policies and products around that? But that's how I personally am navigating the situation right now. So you're in a win-win no matter what. Essentially, if you make a decision, fixed, what's your worst case? Rates go down, mitigate. You make a decision variable, what's your worst case? Rates go up, mitigate, there are ways to do it. That's a wrap, I'm done.
So it ended up being 11 ground floor, 40-foot long bays by 8-foot wide bays, commercial bays. You know, as far as the fit out goes in the base building, you had electrical, power, water, all in there. And then on the second and third floor was meant to be a food hall. Because during our research with those other developments, we found that you needed a big anchor to like kind of bring people into the site. And that's another thing too. If you're doing any kind of real estate, every kind of commercial real estate at least will have some kind of anchor to it. Even if it's this mall right here, right outside, there's that no frills, right? That no frills is the anchor of the strip mall. So we needed an anchor for Station Bar, and that's what the food mall was. This is phase 2. So this is the sign that the city said has to be modular. You have to enter into a lease with us to do it. And they dictated the terms, but we were at their mercy because they own the land. It's the city land, it's a club. So on the ground floor, we had 10 shipping containers on the ground floor, which were 20 feet long, 8 feet wide, and they're called high cubes, so they're 9 foot 6 inches high. And then there's a monument right over top of the entrance that is 40 feet long, 8 feet high, 9 feet 6 inches high as well. And that's where the logo goes. There's nothing, it's not like rentable or leasable. And it was meant to be like a courtyard, like a kind of a space where all the energy of the site banks, and then use that for construction takeout. So we didn't have to like go into the equity pool of all the investors who gave us that money. And I was like, those are the best investor pools. And you can tell the investors, hey, listen, like we actually got like bank lending now. So we're not going to touch your capital anymore. You know, we're going to repatriate you. And then the like Steve. That's big sport. Oh, that's okay. It's right. It's what I bought right here. So building permits were submitted in the middle of summer 2023. We got them approved later that year, like in the fall going into the winter. And then the city, we actually finally figured out a lease with the city to do the lease with the city for 5 years. So that's actually really tricky because you like when you're advertising a loan, you only have 5 years. Like, well, we have to reimagine how we're going to think about the site and get some more, let's say, better communication with the city going. We decided to split the project into phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 was the land that Beljan owned. That's the old train station, the land to the south of it with the parking lot. And then this land here, where that old, if you've been to the MKT, they have that old patio that people like to drink beers and watch the Oilers game at in the summertime. They have that patio just to the north. So we said, okay, that's all going to be phase 1, including the little asphalt pads to the north of that patio. That park, that's phase 2.